the people who are depressed and super needy and have low self-esteem are people that worry about things that are out of their self-control and put their self-worth and self-value on things that are out of their control. So what somebody with low self-esteem and depression what they're lacking is something called mature personal boundary. Okay? And that's like basically like mature personal boundary is kind of like who you are. You know, it's kind of like it's also like an identity as well. And it's like things that you do, things that you control, things about the actions that you take, and that's it. And the majority of problem with little sweaty internet nerds like us, all of you guys who fucking watch porn all the time, fucking a lot of these guys who think they're not good enough for women, they have all their values fucked up and all of their fucking they have no mature personal boundary, and they have no value system that's correct. So basically, if you're depressed, if you're like a sweaty nerd like us, like me, or whatever, sweaty gamer nerd on Twitch, and you're depressed, and girls don't like you, and you feel bad about yourself, and you have low self-esteem, the problem is that you value things that are outside of your personal boundary, things that are out of your control, and you're too needy. So like for me, the thing that I realized about myself in my specific situation, right, was that for Ryan Lockwood, he had his self-esteem and self-worth completely, 100%, I didn't care about anything else in life. How I viewed myself was completely dependent upon whether girls were fucking me or if girls liked me. That was it. That's how I judged myself. That's how I saw myself in the world. I was like, well, girls don't like me. I'm a nobody. I'm useless. Yada, yada, yada. And it was the most fucked up belief that I had turned into some strong value of like how I viewed myself. And so I had to come to terms with that. I had to be like, look, Ryan, you're a fucking needy little bitch. Oh, girls don't like me. Ah! You know what I mean? You're a fucking needy little bitch. You only want sex to make yourself feel better about yourself. You only want girls to make yourself feel good about yourself. You don't even like girls. You just like that girls are talking to you. I mean, I like girls. But it wasn't about, like, actually getting to know the girl and forming a relationship. It was purely like, please like me and fuck me so I can just feel good about myself. It wasn't that I even valued her as a person. It was that I had such low self-esteem and was so needy and so approval-seeking that I didn't care about who she was as a person. I just hoped that she would talk to me and like me and fuck me so that I could finally feel better about myself, because that's where my values were in life, about how I saw myself. And that's out of my personal boundary. I can't control whether girls like me or not. So that's a bad value. You have to fucking get rid of anything that is... You have to get rid of all values that are out of your control. And in order to do that, you have to come to terms with it. Have a moment to yourself and be like, stop being in denial. Admit it to yourself. I'm a needy fucking little bitch. This is unhealthy. You may even cry. I don't know. And you just have to let it go. Just stop being in denial, accept it, and let it go. And that's when you can start reevaluating your values. Make sure that they're inside your personal boundary. And so examples of this, what is an example of something in mature personal boundary that you can control to build self-esteem, right? An example would be self-discipline, patience, being on your own path. School, for example, being on your own path. I'm going to take actions to do well in school. This is valuable to me. This is helping my life. I should feel good about this as a person. I'm becoming... I'm smart, I'm becoming more knowledgeable, and I should value that rather than valuing what every other guy values and being like, well, girls don't like me, and like I can only feel good about myself if girls want to fuck me. Is the most fucking needy, approval-seeking, low self-esteem, nerdy shit that I've ever seen, and I was guilty of it. Okay, I was very guilty of it, and that's why I'm telling you my examples. To maybe that you could apply them to your own, and they might even be similar or identical to my problems, right? Or the problems that I was going through. Because when I used to talk to Carl, right? Everybody knows Carl here. I would be like, man, I just want to have sex so bad, and this and that, and I would talk about how much I want sex. And like, I got into a discussion with Carl, and I remember briefly that Carl, I can't remember how the conversation went, but we eventually arrived to the conclusion that I just wanted sex to feel better about myself, and Carl was like telling me that to my face. And I was in denial for a little bit. I was like, well, no, I actually do want it, you know? I do crave it and stuff. But the real reasoning behind it all was I actually wanted it to feel better about myself because I had fucked up values. Does that make sense? Have you guys been listening to anything I've been saying? So the trick, this is how they explained it in Deep Inner Game. This is more important. Helping people in my chat is more important than this frigate run at the moment. I'm gonna bring up paint. I'm gonna explain this. Okay? This is exactly how they explained it, okay? It's gonna blow your fucking mind. And it's so easy and so overlooked. And people are like, oh my god, I never thought of it that way. Oh my god. Okay, so here we have paint, and this is you. Okay? It's a circle. Okay? And this line represents mature, personal, boundary. Okay. This line represents your mature personal boundary. And so, like, and inside here is the gold, man. This is your self-esteem. This is how they explained it, okay? I'm giving you guys valuable information. Self-esteem is inside your, it's like a gas tank. We could even draw a little wave, we could even draw a little green gas in here. Little wavy green gas. Okay, cool. It's the gas in here. It's like a bunch of, it's your self-esteem, it's your energy. Okay? And so what happens is when you only do things inside here, actions inside your mature personal boundary, and here, then your self-esteem stays inside. It's something that you can control. You can control the level of gas in here. But where the problem comes into play, so we're going to use me as an example. So what happens is when you have values that are outside your personal boundary, like Cindy. Look at Cindy. It's a girl. There she is. Oh my god. Oh my god. And you know what? And you care so much about what Cindy thinks. And you can't really control Cindy, though. Cindy. Okay. And so, like, these guys, or women in general, or Cindy, for example. So, like, man, I just want Cindy to like me. Oh my god, if she had sex with me, this would be so awesome. I could tell my friends about it. And see, it's like, even then, it's like, it's not even about you liking her. It's about, like, hey, look at me, I'm cool. I fucked Cindy. I'm gonna tell my friends to get approval from everybody else because, hey, look, guys, I fucked Cindy. Oh my god, check it out. You're like, oh my god, dude, check it out, I fucked Cindy. Oh my god, look, everybody, look, I fucked her. Look. Got arrows pointing. You just want everybody to see you, you know. It's not even about her if you like Cindy as a person. It's just like you just want her because you want to feel better about yourself because you have fucked up values. Like women want to fuck. Women don't like me and I only feel good about myself. We're kind of describing me. So this is kind of describing me, an example of how I used to be. And I was like, I only felt good if women wanted me or wanted to fuck me. And so what that did is this is the most important part. It made a hole in my personal boundary like this. And I would look outwards towards Cindy, wanting her like this. And what that did was, because I can't control her, what would happen is if Cindy gave me positive responses, my self-esteem, okay, would rise. The gas level in my gas tank would go up, right? But there's still a hole here because my value is outside of my personal boundary, so that causes a hole. But even though my self-esteem can rise, with my bad values outside of my personal boundary, it's always going to leak out again. Does that make sense? Okay? It's always going to keep leaking out because you now have a hole because it's outside your personal boundary. You cannot keep your gas tank from lowering out, and that is exactly how this is described, okay? This is what happens is you form holes in your mature personal boundary. Is you literally care about things that are out of your control and they dictate. So if she were to give me a negative response, oh my God, the gas in my gas tank would just absolutely just pour out, bro. It would just and the gas levels would go down, bro. They'd go way down, dude. And that's your self-esteem is the gas. It's all leaking out. Oh, I don't feel good about myself because Cindy doesn't like me, and I just want her to like me. Do you see how this works now? So anybody who's depressed, fucking sweaty, low self-esteem nerd, you need to really grasp this idea and have a moment to yourself and stop being in denial about like you're perhaps a needy person. And you need to like reevaluate your values and figure out if they're things that you actually can control. Because until you admit that you're needy about something, or until you admit that it's a bad value and that, hey, you know what, this is unhealthy for me, and you stop being in denial, you accept it, you might get emotional about it, you know, all this shit might happen to you. And but if you actually accept it and stuff and like really have a moment where you dig down deep inside your feelings and stuff and like just accept it and just reevaluate yourself, you will actually start to build self-esteem. I promise you 120%. I didn't believe it myself until I started actually doing it and like had a moment to myself, and my self-esteem actually started to rise. I couldn't believe it, man. I really couldn't believe it. And I believe it's and there's nothing to believe here. It's just how it is. And I'm so passionate about it because of the results I got. And like literally when you reevaluate yourself, you like literally will patch this hole. And then when things that you do inside here make you feel good, your self-esteem can only go up, up, and up until it's full at the top. Yeah, so let me give you another example, right? So like so I was just talking, I'm not going to mention who she was, but it's a girl who's my friend. A girl, really pretty girl, bro. This girl guys drool over this girl, man. She's really pretty. And so she grew up with the common belief and thing that society had molded her to believe, which is that the whole I'm a woman and my looks matter the most, and if men want me and men want to fuck me, that should make me feel good about myself. So it's similar to what I used to think, that I want women to like me and want women to fuck me, and that's the only way I'm going to feel good about myself. Well, she had a similar value, okay? I'm not going to mention her name, but her value was, I'm a pretty girl, and if men aren't giving me attention, like, I feel bad about myself, and yada, yada, yada. And so I had this talk with her, and I explained all this, and I'll show you one way that people cover up bad values, is they adhere to them, right? So they'll have, so what do girls do? They're like, I need attention from guys, you know, like if I'm not fucking Brad anymore, or whatever, does he not like me, yada, 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 and they're all worried about whether these guys like him. And so what they do is they're caring about all these guys which are out of their control, out of their personal boundary. And so what they do is they're like, instead of like reevaluating their values and stop being in denial and being like, hey, I'm like needy and have fucked up values, and like why do I care about why do I need approval so bad? Like, it's because I have low self-esteem and I need that approval to raise it, but they have bad values, so it's impossible to build self-esteem. So what I told her to do, or what girls would normally do, is they'll be like, well, you know what? Maybe I'm just not hot enough. I'll just go to the gym and I'll fix this. I'll get a six-pack, I'll squat and get a bigger ass, and guys will want to fuck me. And so instead of changing their values, which are outside their mature personal boundary, instead of changing them and putting them inside, and like really having a moment and accepting that they're needy and have low self-esteem and that they're like a weak person, and try to make some changes, they'll just keep their bad values and try to do something to make themselves feel good and just make it impossible for their bad values to make them feel bad. So they'll go to the gym and work out. Does that make sense? Yeah, so... Yeah, I know about depression. I know that there actually can be some chemical imbalances and stuff. But that's where attracting women. That's where attracting women comes from. Is through everything I learned from Carl, the seminars, all the books I've looked into. Everything that I've learned so far has led me to the finish line of that it is all linked to self-esteem. Because what I realized, so if you can take this self-esteem lesson I just gave you, and what it will do is it will bring you back online to a normal level. You'll be a normal person. You'll be able to interact with people instead of being this needy guy. So the majority of guys who can't attract women are all low self-esteem, very needy for approval. Literally, that is the most common thing amongst them all, okay? Is they're needy and they have low self-esteem. And because they have low self-esteem, subconsciously, how do they think about themselves? They hate themselves, right? And so when you have really low self-esteem and you hate yourself and you interact with girls, you hate yourself so much and you're like, why would this girl want to talk to me? Why would she like me? And you're projecting your own hate of yourself onto this girl. And you start behaving funny. You start acting weird. You start acting pathetic. You need her, you want her to feel sorry for you. A lot of guys do that. And it's because they have low self-esteem and they have bad values. They have low self-esteem and they hate themselves. So they can't possibly attract a woman like that. They can't display any attractive behavior because they have this crippling thing that women don't even want to be around, which is low self-esteem and guys who just are deeply afraid of them and hate themselves. They don't. Girls want nothing to do with guys who have low self-esteem. They do not.